Welcome to the Universal Progress Newsletter, where progress equals progress, not a single set. Don't dwell on your past mistakes, nor judge others for theirs. Dorian Yates. Just like in bodybuilding, failure is also a necessary experience for growth in our own lives. For if we were never tested to our limits, how will we know how strong we really are? Arnold. I recently tuned into an Andrew Huberman podcast where he interviewed someone named Dorian Yates. I came to find out that Dorian Yates was a 6-time consecutive Mr. Olympia winner. He mentioned that in a journal he recorded every single performance-enhancing drug he did, every exercise, and even his daily mood for a 30-year period of his life. He read everything he could about bodybuilding, and he would apply what he learned and test it out on his body. I would suggest that if you didn't have anything else to fill a 3-hour or so block of time, you should think about listening to this fascinating discussion about building and sculpting the human body. As a former physical education teacher, I have been dedicated to health and wellness for over 20 years, and at the age of 42, I have decided to change the way I lift after listening to this interview. Dorian preaches a less is more mindset. You'll have to listen to the podcast if you want the specifics. But essentially, in Yates' opinion, if you're doing 4 to 5 or even more sets per lift, you're now doing cardio, and the muscle building / central nervous system stimulus is not efficiently and effectively happening, as well as if you only did 2 to 3 sets. And to what I call normies like me, who don't take steroids or testosterone, he says he would have people that are not taking performance-enhancing drugs only lift for 45-minute sessions 2 to 3 times per week. Now, growing up in the Conan the Barbarian, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ronnie Coleman times of the 80s, this was all a different mindset. I have been doing similar workouts my football coach taught me in the high school weight room. It was all about the lightweight baby and crushing sets at every exercise like it was my 9 to 5. Arnold in Pumping Iron famously says, "The pump, it's as satisfying as calming is, you know." That's the best Arnold I got. Arnold was known to do sometimes 10 sets per exercise. I tried to do Arnold's workout 5 years ago, and I literally gave myself tendonitis in my right forearm for the first time in my life. It kind of breaks my brain thinking I might have been spending more time in the gym and receiving less results. I saw in a YouTube short that an interviewer asked Dorian if he thought Arnold would be upset that he could have lifted less to get the size and strength that Dorian had been able to achieve. Dorian's response was humble. Arnold probably didn't mind while he was getting paid $20 million per movie. I also saw a clip of Arnold being asked if he had regretted doing so many sets and potentially being able to get bigger if he trained differently. But what Arnold said really became an epiphany to my life. When asked if he regretted the way he trained because he could have potentially been bigger, he responded that he lifted to the best that he knew how to lift. He did what felt right, and doing as many sets as he did made sense. And the line that caused me to write this article is that he doesn't regret a single set. Never regretting a single set is a new mantra in my life. I'm reminded of Ronnie Coleman being asked on the Joe Rogan Experience what he would have done differently. Mind you, Ronnie Coleman went so hard in lifting that he now must move himself around on crutches and is badly crippled from the light lifting style that he did. And Coleman's response to Rogan was that he wished he lifted more heavy weight. If you watch his documentary on Netflix, you will see he still to this day crutches into the gym and grinds out workouts. It also makes me think of David Goggins from Knowledge I got reading his 2 books and listening to him talk on podcasts. Although Goggins is more of an endurance athlete, halfway through his book, I realized it was more of a spiritual book than a motivational book. He even calls motivation kindling that is merely used to start the fire. The real logs are the hours, days, months, and years you pour into yourself, creating discipline that you can rely on. When asked what he will do if, because of all the miles he runs, it leads to him not being able to run anymore due to injury, he curses the interviewer and says, "I don't know, start to swim?" And now, after going down this rabbit hole and listening to these great-minded humans, it has caused me to think about how I felt about my potential wasted time in the gym. And when I think about it, just like buying Satoshis, I have never regretted a single set myself. Every single hike, every single run, every single pickleball game for Tony, and every single set has always been a blessing. If I see someone headed to the weight room at work with their water bottle and workout bag, I never think to myself, "Ah, poor guy." Even if I see an overweight person running on a hot summer day, I think, "Good, they're getting outside and getting after it." Even when I was in my 20s and would go to the gym hungover, I never regretted a single set. I regretted every hangover, and that is a lot of hangovers. But when it comes to moving my body, it always ends with me counting my blessings that I have the ability to move it. Now, not to sound like a broken record, but in this life, we choose our regrets. Find a way to move your body that works for you. And if you want to be functional and useful in your old age, identify a strategy and technique that will help you achieve your lifelong goals. But just know that it isn't necessarily something you have to overthink to get moving. Pick a strategy to the best of your ability, like Arnold, and get out there and work on your health. Move your body and never regret a single set, and live a longer, stronger, more meaningful life, and continue to make regretless progress. Thank you. The mind always fails first, not the body. Dorian Yates.